The issue of mould in an investment property. Depending where the mould is in a property, it can impose an issue all year round. In this podcast, we explain some general points to help avoid the buildup of mould in your investment property. First up, what is mould? Mould and mildew are a form of fungi. They thrive and grow with the buildup of moisture. Over time, a property may get damp, dark, and poorly ventilated. This often occurs in wet areas of a home, including kitchens, bathrooms, and laundries. Other areas can also be on walls, flooring such as under carpets, behind furniture, or on internal roofing areas. Unfortunately, mould can transmit from one area to another. Once it spreads, it can start multiplying. It generally moves through contact of some sort, but it can also spread airborne, making it difficult to keep on top of. But why is mould problematic? Mould in an investment property can cause many serious issues within your property. As mould dries, it releases spores. The spores of bacteria, algae, or fungi can cause terrible illnesses. This can be particularly worse for people who have existing health issues. Mould can also cause nasty odours or smells. The odour is very unpleasant and gives out moist smell in the room. Some people compare it to the smell of wet socks or rotten wood or paper. As the mould accumulates, it starts to damage building materials and home contents. It can accumulate without being unnoticed. If unattended, it can potentially create structural damages too. Where does mould actually come from? Well, mould is everywhere. It can be found both indoors and even outdoors. It manifests on many objects, including food, clothing, carpet, timber, and so much more. It grows best in damp, poorly ventilated areas with limited or no sunlight and reproduces by making spores. Mould and mildew often manifest in investment properties. This occurs from the activity within the home. A tenant may cause it if they are not maintaining the property carefully. While it may be caused by property defects, determining the difference between the two can be quite difficult. How to identify mould before it becomes an issue. Mould can be quickly identified by either the smell or by physically seeing it. The smell is very unpleasant, so it can be quickly found if it's not seen. If you don't have too much clutter within a property, you'll certainly see it sooner rather than later. It can appear in many shapes and colours, including black, brown, or green. The clusters often look very patchy, black being the most prominent and common colour you'll see. If you don't clean your shower regularly, you'll soon see them in the corners and in the grout. As the shower is regularly wet, damp and warm, it's quite a perfect breeding ground for mould. Who's responsible for getting rid of mould in an investment property? Well, this is a grey area as the basis behind the build-up of mould and mildew can vary significantly. The landlord would generally be responsible for the mould if it arises from the lack of maintenance or repairs. Examples could include leaking issues such as a leak in the roof or walls, overflowing of water due to some old damaged gutters and pipes, or plumbing issues including indoor and outdoor. Keeping your property well maintained and tidy will help prevent the landlord from becoming responsible. If your property manager or tenant finds maintenance issues, it's always prudent to rectify these promptly. Tenants can also be responsible for mould in an investment property. This could happen intentionally or not, but a tenant should notify their property manager promptly to prevent their responsibility. Some examples may include using the bathroom facilities, such as the shower not turning on the exhaust fan or opening a window to circulate the air. It also may be that they're not drying up wet surfaces. This is particularly ignored after a bath or a shower. Cooking meals in the kitchen and ignoring the use of the range hood can also be a potential example. There are many other options that may also cause a tenant to be responsible, but if you go to our market insights there on our website at www.crestproperty.net.au, you can certainly look through some of those other potential examples. How do we get rid of mould? If mould is in an investment property, it needs to be identified early. It can then be cleaned quite quickly. Simple surface mould and mildew in a shower or laundry sink may be fine with the use of gloves and an antibacterial spray. However, should it be more complicated or bigger, cleaning it can impose quite an increased health risk for someone. It would then be appropriate to employ a specialist, a cleaner, to be able to remove or reduce the build-up of mould and mildew. Depending on the responsibility burden, that party would be the most likely person to be paying for those services to have them cleaned. The bigger the build-up, the more expensive it would be to remove it. Therefore, it would be best to monitor the property regularly. Having a good property manager will be a handy partner to check this on a landlord's behalf. To learn more about a good property manager, if you go to our Market Insights area, we've got a great section called Great Tips When Selecting a Property Manager. Checking for mould in an investment property should be part of your maintenance checklist. The older the property, the more chance this will be an issue. Take the time to communicate with your property manager and tenant, and it will go a long way to avoid this issue in advance. Good luck and happy investing.